Government change in textbooks, that's the saga that seems to be continuing. Are we playing with textbooks and the syllabus? Worse, the minds of young children. Barely days after announcing that teachings of Hindu gods Ram and Krishna will be included in schools and college curriculums, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav has come out with another announcement. Students in the state will now study a chapter on the 1975 emergency. According to the Chief Minister, this chapter will explain the excesses and repression committed during the emergency period from 1975 to 1977. Mr. Yadav has said that the goal is to make the current generation aware of the struggles faced during that time. Why is this concerning? This new development is raising eyebrows for several reasons. First, it comes right after a controversy over the revised NCERT Class 12 Political Science textbook. The new textbook has some significant changes, including altering the text about Ayodhya and the Babri Masjid. The Babri Masjid is now it has been referred to as a three-domed structure, and the detailed text on Ayodhya has been reduced from 4 pages to just 2. Critics, especially from the opposition, argue that these changes are attempts to saffronize and rewrite history by altering how historical events and religious topics are presented. There are concerns that the students are being exposed to a biased version of history. So what does this mean for students? Remember, just recently, the change of India to Bharat in the textbook. Is the BJP attempting to saffronize the curriculum, as the opposition claims? I'm being joined by R.S. Patania, who's the spokesperson for BJP, Dr. Sudha Acharya, who's the chairperson for National Progressive School Conference, and Kamru Choudhury, who's a political analyst. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining us. Mr. R.S. Patania, may I ask you one question? If Madhya Pradesh government wants to include a chapter in emergency, can I ask you a very simple question? Why wasn't it included all this while? Students need to study about emergency. How was it not in curriculum? You get what I'm asking you? In 2024, you're including a chapter on emergency. BJP governments have been there in Madhya Pradesh as well. What are we talking about? Students have not been studying, those who have been in the state syllabus have not been studying emergency. Is that what you're saying? Because I have studied about emergency in my school days. Mr. R.S. Patania, you have to unmute yourself.
I think my voice is audible. I am audible? Am I audible?
Yes, please. Go ahead. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes. So, with due respect to all responsibility, I refute the very charge which has been made at the outset of this show. Rationalization and not saffronization. This is basically the summum bonum of all the revision activity. And
no, I didn't make this. It's the opposition that is making it. Just a clarification.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're blaming. A charge has been personally there out, and I totally refute and revert it at the very first instance. History is not something which is static. It changes. History changes, the perspectives change, the views change, and ultimately the nuances also change. So with the passage of time, I think the textbooks need to be reviewed. Emergency, for the first time and the last time till the 50, 60 years of independence, the Indian democracy has seen it. So the students need to know, they should know about Babri Masjid and the three-dome structure.
Sir, there is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that students need to see. You're not understanding my question. I think you were not expecting this question. The truth is 2024 में आप emergency का chapter क्यों लगा रहे हो, sir? They should be there in schools. I mean, syllabus have them. I don't understand why Madhya Pradesh state government has jumped onto an emergency chapter in 2024 when there is a hangama happening in parliament. You get my question?
Yeah, I've got your question. And with all clarity and with all vehemence at my command, my respectful submission that if a chapter on a very important aspect has not been included, it has not been elucidated in the earlier years or decades, it's never late to start. So the students must need to know Article 352 exercise only once till till independence and till today. They need to understand what was the basis, what was the background, what was the impact, and what should be the collective resolve to strengthen our democracy, to strengthen the people and the officers and the Sarkar contact, and to resolve that we wouldn't, and we need not
100%.
have
I
such
don't disagree
execution.
with you.
What's
But
what's
what
bad
I'm
in it?
trying to understand is how did the BJP not realize this all this while? Anyway, let me
That's
get the
true.
other panelists as well on this. Mr.
Should have been
Kamruzman
should have
Chaudhary.
been earlier.
So now Madhya Pradesh government has gone ahead and decided to add chapter of emergency in the textbook, saying children must learn about emergency. Surely you and I, despite our whatever our political stance would be, and including Dr. Sudha Acharya, would agree that students need to study about emergency. But what is this really happening? Is it only about emergency? And in 2024, a government is coming and saying, we are going to add a chapter on emergency. That sounds so bizarre. Which student in India should be deprived of all these years of not having studied about emergency? Please go ahead, Mr. Kamruzman Chaudhary.
Yeah, actually, these people, they forgot that Indira Gandhi only bought the education system in the concurrent list. And I believe if Indira Gandhi was present today, she would have been cursing herself today for having brought the entire education into the concurrent list during the emergency. Because how this government has played politics or tried to poison the young minds of our nation with saffronization, that's the first charge that I can make out here. Sneha, one thing is for sure, textbooks, as the title describes it, holds a sacred place in the education system. Both the teacher and the student rely on them as their first authentic source or how to approach a subject. That's the basic point. But by the routine revision of textbooks ought not to result in controversy since it is necessary academic exercise. I told you my first point. But when you have an ideological state proactively engaged in rewriting history with the aim of promoting its own agenda of Brahminical Hindutva politics, I stress on that the interest of the students of education and indeed the nation is bound to be compromised. They have not only a very small example. Let me cite. You have mentioned this on a slide, on a little note, like the NCERT Class 12 political science books. What did they made the changes on that? They completely they deleted any reference to the Babri Masjid. They deleted the Kalyan Singh government being dismissed, or Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee saying that Ayodhya was BJP's worst miscalculation. All these topics that the students must learn from the history have all been deleted just because they do not want to project what they have done to the young minds of our country. You try to fiddle with the periodic table. Sneha, I'm a science student. I know what periodic table means to me as a chemistry student. They try to fiddle with it. They are trying to bring in the Vastu Shastra as a subject in a university. They are trying to bring in some other things from the Vedas, which have no scientific rationale or reasoning in this country. The scientific temper of the students is getting lost. Where are we heading to, Sneha? Questions will be asked and the answer needs to come out from the ruling dispensation out here. I don't know whether I am right with my criticism or not, but the national education policy of 2020 wanted the entire was wanted by the entire ecosystem of the right wing, so that they can fiddle with the textbooks, they can fiddle with the syllabus, they can fiddle with how we studied all along.
All right.
If there